Hey you guys, welcome to The Dent Life. My name is Komal and in this video I'm going to be talking about 5th year. So as you guys know, I'm in my final year and it is 2020 and we've been hit by a pandemic. So final year has been extra stressful and I will go into that in this video. So I'm going to be talking about basically just generally how 5th year works and what kind of assessments you have and like how it was for me, things like that. And then towards the end, I'll just talk a little bit about how Covid-19 affected my final year. So this year we moved back to Plymouth from Truro. It was nice to be in the city where I'd actually planned to study in the first place. It was nice to basically spend my last year in the city and I just miss it and I love Plymouth. It will always have a place in my heart. This year I lived with 5 of my friends in quite a nice student house, which was a 30-minute bus journey from the hospital where we have our clinic. So yeah, overall it was just a really nice setup. So 5th year was all about clinic. We had clinic 4 times a week and then Wednesdays was dedicated to study. And this is kind of how it works in DFT, so Dental Foundation Training, which I will be starting in September. You have 4 days of treating patients and then 1 day of studying and consolidating everything. On average this year I saw about 1 to 3 patients per clinical session. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but this year was really good in terms of me just gaining more confidence and really just perfecting the skills that I have to move on to become an actually qualified dentist. So it's good that I'm saying that I was confident because yeah, I'm gonna be a dentist soon, so 5th year was really good for doing that for me. So anyway, 4th year had 4 days of clinic and then 1 day of either lectures or day books. So day books are basically, for those of you that don't know, like EBL or PBL on steroids. So you basically get like 10 cases per day book and you have to go away, do some research on them, basically learn the cases off by heart, and you present them on a day book presentation day and you're allowed to have an A4 piece of paper for each case to basically use as a prompt. I was really lucky because this year I had my clinical lead as my day book facilitator and he is just so wise and so just knowledgeable. So this was a really nice year for me because I think I just gained so many skills and gained so much knowledge, and yeah, it was just nice. I studied a lot. In terms of exams, we usually have about 3 exams every year and the same for this year, but the last exam was cancelled due to COVID. So what happened is we had the average of the first 2 exams we took and that was calculated to basically either pass or fail us. And what is sad about this scenario is not that I wanted to do my last exam, but in a way I did, because if I knew that my last exam at university was my last exam at university, well, I really would have celebrated so much more than I did. And then we had assessments, so you have to pass some assessments on clinics, such as this year it was like constructing a denture or doing a crown preparation, things like that. So and again, because of COVID, not everyone got to finish that off, but if you were overall a good student, then you weren't penalised for that, because obviously it's impossible for you to do clinical work in a pandemic. We also had an interprofessional engagement module, and that's something we have every year. So it was basically, this year it was to write a report on one aspect of dentistry. So I wrote about IV sedation, and I won't bore you with the details, but that is another assessment that we had to do. Anyway, that's the basic stuff that we basically do every year. All the more stressful stuff is DFT applications, ISCEs and exit case. So I will talk about DFT applications, not in too much detail because I am planning to make some videos to help you guys out with that. How DFT interviews work is you have an interview that's split into 2 parts, and then you have a situational judgment test to do as well. And guys, it was so stressful. November was really stressful because me and my friends, we literally practiced all the time together and separately. I used to wake up early in the morning, practice interviews, practice SJTs, and then came ISCE. So ISCE or OSCE, as you might know it, I don't remember what it stands for. basically what you have is 9 stations or however many stations where you have to do a task. So something like reporting x-rays, or speaking to a patient about their oral health, or writing a referral letter. There's loads of different things that can happen. And again, I will make a video about that. But we were really lucky because we did our ISCEs a week or 2 before the government said that universities were to close, and then came exit case. So technically that was the last exam that I sat. And what an exit case is basically you show off your best work. So you choose a patient that you've done a lot of work on and you show them to your to a panel. I did my exit case presentation on Zoom in my bedroom, and then I just went and laid on my bed because I didn't really know what to do with myself. So there was like no end of year exams or celebrations, and that was quite sad. But anyway, the best part of 5th year was that it's the final step. Like, you've worked so hard to get here, you're finally in your last year of study and you're actually treated like it. The clinical staff respect you, you just feel really grown up, and it feels like when you're in primary school and you're in year 6 and you have those benches that you sit on and you look at the lower years and you're like, you peasants. That's what it feels like. Obviously, apart from the whole COVID thing, the worst thing about 5th year is that there's so much going on, so it is quite stressful. You just have to juggle a lot of things and it can really get to you. So my advice to 5th years would be that don't stress out too much. Like, you will get through it, and don't forget to enjoy yourself because it's your last year at university. So don't lock yourself up in a room and just study. Even though studying is very important, you will regret it, because if something like COVID happens, you won't get to do all those things you said. The worst part of my final year was the fact that it ended so abruptly with COVID happening. There was no final exam night out, there were no goodbye dinners, and there will be no graduation this year. Hopefully we'll get one next year, but who knows. But anyway, I won't moan about how COVID has affected my life. It hasn't really affected it in a negative way, it's just been an inconvenience. So yeah, I hope that helped, and if you guys have any questions then feel free to contact me. My email is down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.